Hello, welcome to today's class. Our topic today is making sprites. This lesson is designed to introduce you to programming in the Sprite Lab. So we're going to explore ways that we can use to express ourselves. So at the end of today's class, you will be able to create an animation using sprites and behaviors. You will also be able to assign new costumes to your sprites. I guess you're excited, right? Yes, this class is going to be fun, so listen attentively. Now, let's take a look at new words for today's class. The first word we're going to review today is sprite. In our previous lesson, we talked about this. Do you still remember? Sprite is a graphic on the screen with a location, size, and appearance. So sprites are the characters or the images on your screen. And remember, they have a location, they have a size, and you can also change their appearance. The second word is algorithm. Algorithm is a list of steps to complete a task. So algorithms are steps taken to complete a task or to finish something, to finish your work. So when we talk about algorithm, we're referring to list of steps taken to complete a task. The next term is behavior. So behavior is an action that a sprite performs continuously until it's told to stop. So when you see your sprite acting in a certain way, that is the behavior of the sprite. So behavior is an action that a sprite performs continuously until it's told to stop. And our last word for today's class is program. Program is an algorithm that has been coded into something that can be run by a machine. So a program is a set of instructions given to the computer. Okay, so we can liken that to an algorithm that has been coded into something that can be run by a machine. Now let's listen to an overview of making sprites.
It's time to dig into some fun features of Sprite Lab. The first thing to do is to set up a sprite. To add a sprite, you can use the Make a New Sprite block. This block lets you give your sprite a costume and a location. If you want to change the sprite's location, you can click the pin in the location block and then click where you want it to go. You can change the size of your sprites too. To make a sprite smaller, you can use the set size block and then type in a number that is less than 100. If you have 2 or more sprites with the same costume, this will change all of them at once. Now, let's get the sprite moving by using a behavior. You can start by giving the sprite the spinning right behavior. Once the behavior begins, it will run over and over again forever, or until you tell it to stop. And that's all there is to it. Now it is your turn.
So you're welcome to our lesson, which is making sprites on the Code Studio. And this is level 1 of our puzzle. This level is a prediction level. So we have to read the code we've been given and make a prediction. So this is our code that we've been given. It says when run, set background to, make sprites, and all of that. So we have 2 sprites here on our screen. And one sprite is moving east and the other sprite is moving west. So now let's read the options. A, both planes will move one space along the grid, then stop. If you take a look at the program we've been given, there's no place where our program says stop. B says both planes will start moving and not stop. C says one plane will move first and the other plane will move later. That wasn't also stated here in our program. Then D says the plane will crash. D says the planes will crash, and that also wasn't stated in our program, so I'm going to go with B. We say both planes will start moving and not stop. So I'm going to choose option B and then run my program. Ta-da! That was correct. So now let's move to the next level. I'm going to move to level 3. Level 3 says making sprites. To make a sprite, open the sprites category of the toolbox and drag out this block. So this block, which is the make new sprite block, help us to make a new sprite. So this is the category. We have two categories here, the word category and the sprite category. But to make a new sprite, which category am I going to click on? It is the sprites category. So I'm going to drag this here. Can you see the set background block? These block help us to change the background in our program or in our code. So if I touch the drop down arrow, I can see different backgrounds I can choose from. So you can change it to whatever background that suits you or whichever background you prefer. So I think I'm going to go with this. So this is our make new sprite block. I can also touch the drop down arrow and change my image. Can you see we have lots and lots of exciting sprites here that we can choose from? So you can change it if you want, okay, or you can just work with the one you've been given. So this is what we have to do. We're just to drag out the block and then hit the run button and watch our program go. That was pretty easy, right? Yay! So now let's move to the next puzzle. Positioning sprites. Each sprite has a location. So you can set the location by clicking the pin on this block. So to set location, you have to find the new block in the locations category of the toolbox and drag it to your workspace. And then you have to connect it to the make new sprite block that we've added before. Okay, then to change the location, we have to click the pin on the location block, then choose a new position for your sprite on the screen, and then you press run when you are finished with your code. Always remember, reading your instructions is very, very important because it helps to guide you on what to do. So I'm going to click on my location block and get this and attach it to my make new sprite block. Okay, now to change the location, I have to click on the pin on the location block. And then I can change the location of my sprite. That was easy, right? Yay! More sprites. Now let's add even more sprites to this program. Okay, click the image to right to expand it. We have to make 4 sprites and we have to choose any costumes we like. Position each one in a different corner of the screen like this image. Can you see this image here? So to get new sprite blocks, I have to touch the sprites category and get new blocks out. So to change the sprite, we have to touch the down arrow and choose any one we like. Just change it. Okay. Alright, now we have to touch the pin to change the location. Ta-da! Sprite properties. Sprites have more properties, including a size that can be set with code. Here are two sprites, but one is bigger than the other. Use the new block in the sprites category to change the size of the second sprite. Okay, they said use the new block in the sprites category to change the size of the second sprite. So the first sprite has been given, the size of the first sprite has been given, and it's set at 250. So now let's see we have to set the size of the second one, and the default size is 100. Okay, so use a set size block to resize the second sprite. Look at the set size block. Okay, dragging it here. I have to change this. Okay, it's correct. Now you have to take note of the images. Okay, the images on the make new sprite block and the images on the set size block. You have to be sure that they correspond with each other. Okay, let me change this one to 50. So we have 50 and we have 100. I'm going to hit the run button now. Oh, the default sprite size is 100, so choose any other number. Okay, let me choose 90. Let's see if this is going to work. Ta-da! So this brings us to the end of today's class. So just go right ahead to the Code Studio and complete your puzzles in this lesson. See you in my next class. Bye!